Abbi J from ajlifehacks.com, and today I'm really, I don't know if excited is the right word, but I really want to talk about loneliness today. And I want to share with you some tips on how we can combat loneliness, because I feel like loneliness is one of the most universal feelings that all of us experience at different points in our lives. And so the tips I want to share with you today can work for any age demographic where you live. It doesn't matter. These tips are going to help you to combat that awful and encroaching feeling of being lonely. According to psychologytoday.com, there are about 7 different types of loneliness. There's the loneliness that comes from, hey, I've moved to a new town and city and I know no one, to the loneliness of, I don't feel like people care about me. I might be surrounded by people, but I just don't feel like they care. Or the loneliness of not having pets in your life or a sweetheart in your life. There's so many different reasons that we can feel loneliness, and it doesn't necessarily mean that we're just off on our own alone. And that's why loneliness can be so universal and so pervasive in our life, is because we can be experiencing the loneliness of, yes, I'm the new kid, but even after years of, oh, I have my friend group, people know me now, you can be hit with the loneliness of, man, I just feel like people don't care, or I don't have a sweetheart and I don't have somebody that I feel really cares about me personally. And so what do we do about that? My first tip for you for combating loneliness is to figure out why you're feeling lonely. Take a second and really, truly think about where your loneliness is stemming from. Is it from your friends? Is it from lack of friends? Is it from an event that's happened that made you open up your awareness to the fact that maybe you're missing something in your life? What is it that you are feeling? Because just saying loneliness and blanking it over with that isn't good enough to fixing the problem. Just saying, oh, I'm lonely. Well, guess what? You can be lonely and hanging out with people, and people are just going to look at you like you're crazy. So figure out why you are feeling lonely. Write this down. Think about this. Like, seriously, take some time to dive deep into your emotions and where they are coming from. The second tip I have for you with loneliness is to practice being open. Now, the skill of being open, or I would say it's more of a choice of being open to life, to opportunities, to people, is something that can be difficult for a lot of people. And why it's really important to practice this is because if you want to change, you've identified in step 1 what kind of loneliness you are experiencing, or what creates this feeling of loneliness for you. You're fine until maybe you go in to the football games and you see all these people and realize that you don't know anybody. Like, what is triggering your loneliness? And now you have to be open to the possibility of changing that. And that might be putting yourself out there, like going to singles events or making new friends or letting people know that you need more from them. It's scary. I get that. Nobody likes putting yourself out there because there's the fear of rejection. There's the fear of not getting what you're after. But you have to combat those fears and push through it, because this is a greater cause to you finding happiness and joy. And it starts with you being open to the possibilities of new friends, new people in your life, new opportunities, and a new journey for you. So start consciously practicing being open to the solutions to the first loneliness triggers and symptoms that you're feeling. Now, my third tip for you is to be as healthy as you possibly can be. Now, I get that seems a little bit weird. We're talking about something that we feel emotionally, right? Loneliness isn't a disease, but loneliness affects us on all aspects of our health, mental and physical and emotional. And so we need to combat loneliness on every front. We need to make sure we're getting enough sleep, that we're eating as healthy as we can, and that we're practicing, the physical, like exercising and taking care of our bodies so that we feel our best. I'm sure you've experienced before when you are sick, like you just feel so vulnerable and emotional. And on the flip side, when you've had a horrible day, I'm sure your body aches and hurts and feels just so tired. It's because we're just so connected. We're just like one being. There's not an emotional and mental side of us and a physical side of us. It's one being and soul and person. So try to be as healthy as you possibly can be, because it's going to help you, fight this emotional front of defeating your loneliness. And my last tip for you, and this is probably the most important tip, and this is to look outside of yourself. When we are lonely, our world becomes very, very, very small. And we start to think about our problems and why people don't like us, or why everything bad happens to us, and why this is happening to us, and how other people have it so great, and our world is hard, and this is really hard. And I'm not dismissing those feelings. I have felt those feelings. I have definitely experienced them more than I care to admit, but we need to start to open up our lives and to look outside of ourselves. This might be a new hobby. This definitely involves service. And I'm a huge advocate that service does not mean that now once a week I donate 12 hours in my Saturday to go, volunteer at this organization. Like, that's amazing. But I personally can't give that. But I can give a smile. I can give a nice call to a friend. I can send a cute text to somebody to cheer up their day. I can pick up trash where I go. Like, I can serve in little ways every day. And when you start to look outside yourself, you start to realize that the world is so much bigger than you are. And I don't say that in a discouraging way. I say that in that people have it worse than you. There's people who are more lonely than you, and people that you need to reach out to. And this step really helps with step number 2 of opening yourself up. They kind of go together. So start looking outside yourself. I pray when I'm lonely. You can reach out to other people, but make sure that you aren't closing off your world and keeping it all about you. And start to serve other people, and you'll start to see that your loneliness, piece by piece, is not easy and is not instant. But piece by piece, your loneliness will start to go away or not be as frequent. So there you have it. Those are my tips for you for combating loneliness. It's a scary thing to be lonely. We feel like it's never going to end, but it does, and it will. And you know what? It might come again in your life, but use these tips. Find out what works for you. Everybody is so different, and maybe one of these tips is awesome for you and the rest don't work. But try them out, see what happens for you, and comment below. Share some love and support for this, because we all feel this way. To say that you've never been lonely is just not true. All of us have experienced it. And so please like this video, share it around, and of course subscribe to my channel. So I'll see you in my next video. Abbi J out.